Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. But at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? Episode 54. Chapter 30. Saying Goodbye. Breakfast the next morning with Sigurd, Hawk, and Onorva was interrupted with a pounding on the door and someone yelling out Onorva's name. Onorva looked worried as she hurried to the door and opened it. "Your guests need to leave quickly," the woman said, shutting the door behind her. "Why? What's wrong?" "The soldiers are on their way here from the east. They'll be here in less than an hour." "I thought they weren't supposed to be here for another day," Sigurd said to the woman. "They're moving faster than we believed," she said. "You need to leave. They warned us that if they returned, they'd search each and every house. You must be far from here before they arrive." "What about my parents' graves?" Willow asked Onorva after she shut the door behind the woman. "They're on the opposite side of town. Once you're done visiting, you can leave without detection. They should have no idea you were ever here," Onorva said, putting food in one of their bags. "Hawk, Sigurd, help me up," Willow said. Both men took one of her arms and helped her stand. As she straightened her back, she felt the pull of the newly healed skin. It didn't like her moving. "Help me walk around the room," she said. "I'm stiff from resting so long." Onorva finished gathering supplies for them by the time Willow and the men had gone around the room a few times. Willow felt less stiff, but knew traveling long distances or running from the soldiers would be impossible. "Remember," Adelina said, watching the trio, "I can carry you, and it won't slow me down." "I remember. But I have to be able to walk on my own sooner or later." "You can walk whenever you want. Consider using me as transportation, as a last resort." "Come," Onorva said. "Time is getting short." Willow grabbed Val and used him as a cane, leaning heavily on him, while Hawk walked next to her, ready to catch her if she started to fall. They left Onorva's house and turned away from the rising sun. "The cemetery is on the outskirts of the village on a hill. It might be tough for you to get there," she said, watching Willow's struggling steps. "I'll make it, even if I have to crawl up the hill." "Or ride the leopard," Adelina added. "Or ride the stubborn and overprotective leopard." They'd just reached a narrow dirt path leading up a hill when a horn sounded. "They're here," Onorva said, sounding slightly panicked. "The cemetery is up this path." Going over to Willow, she hugged her gently and said, "It was wonderful seeing you again. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to come back here and see me. This is your home, and you are always welcome." "Thank you for all your help, and for telling me about my parents. I hope to see you after everything's settled down." "Safe travels," she said, looking at them one last time before she turned and hurried toward the town. "Let's get you up this hill," Sigurd said, grabbing one of Willow's arms to support her. "Watch your step. It looks steep." "I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is clear. I don't want any more surprises," Hawk said before he jogged up the hill. "Adelina, go with him. If he comes across anyone, he might need help." "You want me to leave you alone with him? What happens if you can't make it?" "We'll be able to manage just fine. Now go." "Fine. But don't say I didn't warn you when you come calling for me." "Finally," Sigurd said after Adelina left, "some time alone." "Did he forget about me?" Val asked. "I've been trying to find some time alone with you for a while now." "He did forget about me," Val said. Willow was breathing hard, for the incline became quite steep, or at least that's how it felt to her. Finding a spare breath, she said, "Why?" "I've been concerned about you, my love. I could have lost you in that forest, and you wouldn't have known how I felt for you." "I think I have an idea how you feel, Sig," she said. "Shouldn't you let him know he's not alone with you?" Val asked. "I don't want to hear any mushy declarations of love." "I'm trying to have a conversation here, Val. Could you be quiet for a minute?" "No, you don't," Sigurd said, stopping his tracks. "I've alluded to it, but I want to be very clear. I love you. I've loved you for a while now. But having almost lost you, I can't keep my feelings inside anymore." "Oh, Sigurd," Willow said, feeling conflicted and unsure as to what to say. "I care deeply for you, too. But too much is going on right now for me to know exactly how I feel about you. I know I love you as a friend, but that's not what you're talking about, is it?" "No," Sigurd said. "I love you as a man loves his soulmate. When all this is done, I want to marry you and have children with you and live happily ever after with you by my side. Willow, will you marry me?" I'm flattered, Sigurd. I am," Willow said, trying not to panic. "Right now, I can't say yes to your proposal, but I'm not saying no either. Ask me later, when everything's settled, please." Sigurd tried to cover up his disappointment, but she could see it in every line of his face. "I can guarantee you that I'll ask you again, and no matter how many times you say no, I won't take no as an answer." "What's taking you two so long?" Hawk asked from the top of the hill. "Nothing," Sigurd said. "She just got a little winded, so we stopped for a second." "Why were you really taking so long?" Adelina asked once Willow and Sigurd had reached the top of the hill. "The boy proposed to her," Val said before Willow could answer. "He what?" "Did you have to tell her?" Willow asked. "I don't keep secrets from my friends. You going to tell Hawk?" "No, I'm not going to tell him. I'm going to search for my parents' graves." "He asked her to marry him while they were walking to the cemetery to find her dead parents? Oh, so romantic. Wonder what his next romantic gesture will be. Did she say yes?" Adelina asked. "No, she put him off. He's supposed to ask again when everything's settled." "Hawk," Willow said, louder than necessary, "did you find them yet?" "Not yet," Hawk said from the first row of graves. "If the dates on these closest graves can be believed, they should be near the back of the hill." "I'll start there then," she said. Willow walked toward the last row, glancing at names as she passed each row. A few family names she saw over and over again, such as Appelbonde and Fulrup. Other names she only saw once or twice. Moving from grave to grave along the back row, she saw the dates of death closer to when her mother would have passed away. Willow began to feel nervous. "The dead can't harm you," Val said, comforting. "Visiting them can only give a type of closure to the ones left behind." Val's words comforted Willow as she continued to look. Then, as a shard of light peeked out from behind a tree, she saw their names carved in simple gray stones. Not taking her eyes off the stone, she called out, "Found them!" and heard the men coming up behind her. "We should have brought flowers," Hawk said quietly. Then someone would know we were here, Sigurd said, and we can't risk it. Do you want us to leave you alone for a few minutes? Hawk asked, ignoring Sigurd's comments. No, she responded, still staring at the names of the parents she'd never really had a chance to know. Then, very carefully, Willow knelt down in front of the stones and traced their names slowly. Her mind, which had been full of a million thoughts, was suddenly blank. It was as if this moment was too much for her mind to take in. When she'd finished tracing the last letter of her father's name, she shifted her body back and just looked at the stones. A stream of tears flowed down her face. This was the closest she'd ever been to her parents in her lifetime, and no matter how long she stayed, they'd never know her or see the woman she'd become. They know, Adelina said. They're watching from above, knowing their little girl is special. You're right, Willow said, putting aside the negative thoughts and wiping away the tears which stained her face. Happy thoughts. Rising to her feet and looking down, a sudden idea came to her mind. Raising her arms, she concentrated on creating a bouquet of flowers. Before their eyes, the bouquet became reality, springing from the ground behind the headstones, the delicate flower petals looking like they were made of ice. None had ever seen such unique flowers. Adelina, seeing what she had done, breathed on the flowers. The ice melted away, leaving wild flowers of all colors. You shouldn't leave flowers, Sigurd said. The soldiers! We'll never see them, Willow finished. These flowers will live forever and can only be seen by friends and relatives of myself or my parents. The soldiers will never even know of their existence. Clever, Hawk said. I thought so, Willow said, looking over the edge of the hill. They have such a nice view. I wonder if my dad picked it out especially for my mom. He probably did, Sigurd said, putting an arm around her. Below them was a small pool of water with large trees sheltering it from the sun. Looking harder at the pool, Willow said, Does it look familiar to you? You have been listening to From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. Read, recorded, mastered, encoded, and produced by Colbyjack.net. This work is released under a Creative Commons 3.0 Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it, just don't try to profit from it. Heaven knows we can't. If you have any questions, comments, or rants you wish to share with us, we can be reached at Colbyjack at Colbyjack.net. That's COLBYTRAX @COLBYJACK.net. Yep, I sing it too. If you want to follow the exploits of Trisha in Twitterland, just search for Lady Trisha W on Twitter, or follow the ever-dashing, courageous, hardworking, intelligent, and immensely humble Colbyjack on the Twitters as well. If you find that you can't, just wait to find out what will happen with Willow, the strong dude and the annoying dude. Be heartened to know that From the Flames is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords, as well as from our little shop. Didn't you know about our little shop? Why, yes, we have a little shop located at shop. That's shop.colbyjack.net. That's shop.colbyjack.net. Yeah, real original there. There you will find the latest ebook versions of all our works in both Mobi and ebook, all DRM-free, as well as audiobook versions of such works as Firmware Hijacked and Proxy, as well, naturally, as well as From the Flames. The audiobooks differ from the podcasts in that the headers and bumpers only run once, and the episodes are grouped in hour-long episodes for easy burning to CD or for downloading on the go. If you find you don't need any stuff, but just want to thank us monetarily for our efforts here, just head on over to Colbyjack.net, select either audio or visual, and look for the donate button located on the blog roll. Well, anyway, thank you for listening, have a wonderful week, and remember to be fabulous.